Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in. We have a great show and discussion tonight. And to my super chat, well, first, Eric H526 and Luke St. Martin, thank you so much for being the best moderators in all of YouTube. Your help during these live streams is just greatly appreciated. I can't thank you enough, Luke and Eric. Ladies and gentlemen, to my super chat, I can't do these without you. So you give me every incentive to rock these live streams, and I thank you. I don't have $20 million in venture capital funding like some people who, by the way, are facing a discrimination case that nobody's talking about, the hypocrites. Anyway, a lot of really interesting things are taking place. Check out my segment prior to this one. I have to also thank the people in prior segments who were kind enough to give me a super thanks. So the super thanks button on every upload is below, right next to the like and the share button. But on the segment prior to this one, I must thank a gentleman, Awake Canadian. Thank you so very much, as always, Awake Canadian. And Figgles Norp T Duck, thank you. Formerly, let's see, a different name that was just as awesome. And so, Figgles Norp, thank you so much. And Awake Canadian, thank you so much. And, by the way, there were some other people as well on the super thanks. I have to thank them. There is CMW on the super thanks. Thank you. As always, thank you, CMW. And I believe I thanked everyone from the prior videos as well. If I'm missing somebody, let me know. But I just want to thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, so to my super chat on this live stream, thank you as well. Ladies and gentlemen, they're going to court. They're going to court, and they're going to basically litigate everything. They want the routers. They want information pertaining to a certain tech company. The tech company and the county do not want to give the information to cyber ninjas and the Senate Republicans. The Senate Republicans, this legislation, this recount or audit, it's not legislation, but this audit passed. It passed the Senate, the Republican Senate, okay? So the Republican Senate sanctioned, in Arizona, sanctioned this this audit, okay? It was upheld by 2 judges, okay? So you have a Republican Senate that upheld the recount. You have 2 different judges, one of whom recused himself. Both basically said, you can go ahead and not only have a recount, you are entitled to records. If the Republican Senate demands records, well then, if the Republican Senate, M. Ray, hello. Joey, hello. If the Republican Senate demands records, digital information, cyber data, hardware, technology that they demand, well then, a judge recently, I believe, upheld the ability of the Senate to subpoena records. They're not complying, and therefore it's going to go to court. This is what the Senate Republicans have stated. They're going to court. So they're going to go to court. And the interesting thing about all of this, there are 2 things initially that I want to say. Number one, the Senate Republicans in Arizona have, of course, unfairly been targeted by media. It's not fair. It's a double standard, and they've been scrutinized in a way that, nobody was last November. Actually, the interesting thing is, last November, Republicans were making the same allegations and accusations as Democrats are of the Republicans engaging in the recount in Arizona. You knew, this is kind of what one of my main points here is that I hope and I do believe, or I think that the legal case to obtain information, the information they want or the data that they want, I think they have a legal case. I mean, it went through the Senate. It went through the state legislature, so what's the problem? It was upheld by 2 judges, so what's the problem? I want to know what the problem is if this is the epitome of democracy. We get that Democrats and media don't like the fact that there's a recount. They cannot stand that Trump doesn't trust them. In the same manner they didn't trust Trump. They spent 4 years saying he was an illegitimate president. Well, that's what you get. Democrats created this world. Don't get me started on the possible financial catastrophe we face as a country. And it's not just Democrats. It's Republicans like Mitt Romney and Cheney and Kinzinger who just go along blindly, and they don't offer the country a different vantage point. That's why we're heading off a fiscal cliff. I don't usually speak in this manner. Like, I was on the left my whole life, so I am almost immune to, the irresponsible nature of Democrats when it comes to just ignoring wealth creation. They don't care about, businesses flourishing. They literally do not care. They care about taxes. That's what gets them going, taxes. They care about social safety nets, which are extremely important, I agree. But they don't care about lifting people from poverty. They care about talking about poverty and pontificating and preaching and giving sermons. They don't care about actually lifting people from poverty, lifting them from poverty. That's not the focus. The infrastructure bill is actually going to decrease GDP. How on earth are you going to spend $3.5 trillion to decrease economic output? That's according to the Wharton School. But if you look, ladies and gentlemen, the Republicans in Arizona have every right to engage in the recount. They're done. They're basically done. They don't have the information they need. What they should have done was simply the following. They should have simply drafted interim reports, initial reports, progress reports, okay? Something that people around the country and within Arizona could read to track the progress. Something that they could look at they could have simply written it as if it were an intelligence report. You know how the ODNI report and the intelligence reports have, we don't guarantee anything. We're just highly confident. They could have simply said, we're highly confident about this number. We're highly confident. However, we need the routers. We need certain type of information pertaining to digital and cyber related data. We need to ensure that all of these ballots correspond with addresses, because we have a whole bunch of ballots that make no sense for whatever reason. They should have documented everything and allowed the public to see what was going on. And if they said, well, that's not possible because, it was in a constant state of flux, and you could have said, okay, we'll wait a month and a half. It's been 3-4 months. They said, okay, every month we'll give a progress report. Every month. You could have just done that. You could have said, look, if you're the Arizona Republicans, you could have demanded that. You could have simply demanded that. You could have said, look, this is what we need. And this will actually make it very difficult. So this will make it very difficult for media to disparage, to constantly disparage, to constantly, demean the recount. If you had some kind of progress report. Now we're waiting for a legal battle that's going to take probably a while. I mean, I don't know when they're going to meet up in court. But the Senate president stated, the Arizona Republican Senate president stated it's going to happen. They're going to take the technology firm and the county to court. And they're going to have a judge rule on whether or not they get the information they need. Every step of the way. See, this is the important part of, if the cyber ninjas or if the Republican number isn't entirely accurate, okay? You have to look at things from the manner that, like, how the intelligence community conveys or communicates its nonsense. We're highly to moderately confident. So you simply put, we're highly confident that what we did produced this number. However, we did not get a chance to verify, X number of addresses. And these were the anomalies that took place. It's not that difficult because they already had, ladies and gentlemen, a hearing. They already had a hearing. Like numerous hearings. Vicissitude, hello. They had numerous hearings, and it still didn't work out. I mean, I should say, the hearings didn't really communicate the merits of the recount. So, at the end of the day, we're going to wait. We're waiting for a number. The whole planet is waiting. President Trump even went after the Attorney General, saying, "Look, if you don't back up the fact that," well, let's see, what did he say, Mark? Let's see, what did President Trump say? Trump criticizes Attorney General Mark Brnovich over recount. Former President Donald Trump lashed out against State Attorney General Mark Brnovich over his tepid support of the ongoing review, harmful to the potential Republican contender in Arizona's 2022 U.S. Senate race. Calling Brnovich lackluster, Trump said on Saturday in a written statement that Brnovich should, quote, get on the ball with GOP state senators. Trump repeated baseless claims that his loss was attributed to criminal behavior or crime. So, I understand maybe the Attorney General actually, the Arizona Attorney General here and there has gone to bat for Republicans in the Senate. But I don't understand, there's just a lack of communication. And this is because there's zero media support. And also the Republicans in Arizona, I think, were overwhelmed by that Karen Fann was great when she was interviewed by. See, this is now they're being there's an opinion. It's time for Senator Fann and her ninja auditors to release the Kraken and show us the misconduct. Opinion: Senate President Karen Fann should tell her auditors that it's time to quit stalling and release the report of their findings. This is the Arizona Republic. They're basically daring. See, this is why, They knew that they had a Herculean task. They knew that they had a whole bunch of moving parts. They knew that they couldn't get all the information they needed without, whether it was routers or information. So they should have simply said in the very beginning, how hard was this? It's so difficult for Trump Republicans. And I say this like, I'm not a Republican, but I support President Trump. I would vote for him again. I voted for him last year. He's infinitely better than any Democrat. And he's one of our better presidents for a number of reasons. You'd have to be completely ignorant of politics to not... I don't want to sneeze. Don't worry, it's just allergies. Or not even allergies. You know, normal human bodily functions. It's not like I'm Jeffrey Tubening just to sneeze. But anyway, they could have simply been a little bit more savvy. Trump Republicans, like, I support President Trump. He's one of our better presidents, in my view. Record low unemployment. Record low. We are heading towards a financial catastrophe. People are losing are going to be evicted from their homes directly because of Democratic Party policies. And they want to tank the economy again. Believe me, if it was up to them, we'd be bartering a Lamborghini for, an orange or an apple. You'd be giving like gold bars for, Oasis pieces. They don't care. And you see that with a whole bunch of things. They're drunk on power. They have the media telling them they can do no wrong. And Democrats, the policies are just leading to millions and millions of catastrophic consequences. Or I should say millions of people experiencing catastrophic consequences. You've tanked society as we know it. You've ended society as we know to keep people safe. It doesn't keep people safe. God almighty. And then everything the experts say is immediately reversed with new data that shows the experts initially knew nothing or that they were wrong. And when they're proven wrong, they then say, well, there's new data, so trust us again. CMW! Love your updates. Thank you, CMW. I can't thank you enough. CMW, for the super thanks and the super chat, and just for your support. I can't do this without you, CMW, and everyone here. I don't have $20 million in venture capital funding. Morgan Weaver, thank you. Sam, they're all over the place. Morgan Weaver, thank you. CMW, greatly appreciated. I can't thank you enough, CMW, as always, especially for the super thanks, too. It's very kind of you. Morgan Weaver, thank you. They're not like, you don't go ahead and if you're using Just for Men or the spray, you don't have a press conference when rabid, hysterical, angry, disgruntled, apoplectic, narcissistic, snarky reporters and journalists are just waiting to demean and disparage you. You don't have a press conference. And I like Rudy Giuliani. He was America's mayor not long ago. Like, he really was America's mayor. Not like America's governor, Cuomo, who's committed so many crimes. Of course, Democrats don't care. Like legitimate, real crimes that affected people's lives. Thousands upon thousands of people lost their lives because of this man. And that's not hyperbole. They say that because of Trump. It's like, no, Trump didn't tell Democratic governors to completely tank their states and do counterproductive things that directly caused people to lose their lives. But anyway, if you're Rudy Giuliani, you don't go with other attorneys and have a press conference when you know the only goal, the life's mission of the reporters who are at the press conference is to find some way to tarnish and to smear and to undermine the press conference. You don't do that. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. Why would you have a press conference? Apoplectic alert, Larry Gorg. Why would you, Sandra, thank you. Why would you have a press conference and you know that you're not going to be able to communicate the information to people who want to hear it? Furthermore, why would you then, if you're the Republicans, like Trump Republicans, and like I said, I support President Trump. He's a great president, infinitely better than President Obama, and a trillion times better than Biden for a number of reasons, foreign policy included. Okay, especially foreign policy. But you look, it's like we had record low unemployment. You can't dispute that. Now we have a catastrophe, financial catastrophe ongoing. But you know that media is not going to give you a fair chance. You know that media is not going to give you the ability to communicate in an effective manner your vantage point. So you need to think outside of the box. Okay? You could have built a national dialogue just like Rudy Giuliani and President Trump could have. If it wasn't a Senate President Karen Fann, it could have been other people. They could have simply gone on everybody from, like I said, Joe Rogan to Anthony Bryan Logan to Brandon Tatum to Tim Pool. And not just like Newsmax, like once appearing on Newsmax or a radio interview. You could have built up this public relations momentum because the other side is engaging in public relations daily, trying to take you down, trying to tarnish and undermine and silence your message. So it's fair game. You're not doing anything wrong. Why not effectively communicate your vantage point? Why not build support for what you're doing? Why not simply explain to the world, hey, this is why we're doing this recount. The prior recounts didn't address possible misconduct. Here's why. The prior recounts were only 1% to 2% of ballots. Okay, this was the epitome of democracy. When people say it's not democracy, you simply say, well, it was upheld by 2 judges and it went through the state Senate. So it went through the state legislature, and it was upheld by 2 judges. And the only thing you could say now is, well, it's a sham and a scam, and it's ridiculous, and it's absurd, and it's, makes us look bad, but that's your opinion. And you can also just say, look, there are Republicans in Arizona who have no clue how it went blue. We have no clue, based on the data we have, that should never have happened. And then you'd still get the indignant reaction from detractors, but at least you could build some type of momentum, because what's taking place is a battle for emotion. They're trying to battle emotion. I mean, they're trying to, detractors of the recount are trying to create this skepticism, suspicion, distrust. They're accusing Republicans of creating skepticism, distrust, suspicion. These are emotions. There's a way to compete for emotions. CMW, thank you again. CMW. Morgan, thank you. Larry, thank you. And I don't understand. I don't understand why supporters of President Trump, whether it's Giuliani or Karen Fan, Don! HA, what do you think Van Jones will do with $100 million? Don, the juicer. You know, I saw that, and what is it for again? It's for, let's see, it's for, Jeff Bezos donates $100 million each to CNN contributor Van Jones and Jose Andres. And are free to do what they want with the money. They can give all the money to their own charity. The money Bezos said was tied to a surprise philanthropic initiative he wanted to announce called the Courage and Civility Award. Nobody on Twitter will get that. I can tell you that right now. The award aims to honor those who've demonstrated courage and tried to be a unifier in a divisive world. Bezos owns the Washington Post. That's the best. So it's probably a way to... Don, thank you so very much. It's probably a way to publicize a philanthropic organization, because we wouldn't be talking about it right now had Bezos not given the money to Van Jones. So obviously he might as well have not given the money to anybody. They almost certainly don't have full control of the money, although maybe they do. Andres, who has poured his efforts into feeding those in need around the world, said the award itself cannot feed the world on its own. But Andres said this is the start of a new chapter for us. So that's good. Let's hope that it does lead to something good. I think, Van Jones is very big into climate change. The philanthropic initiative from Bezos comes after he and fellow billionaires Richard Branson face criticism for spending their wealth on space tourism. Bezos has previously been criticized for not contributing more to philanthropy, but has donated billions of dollars in recent years to causes including climate change. Oh my God. And food banks. Well, food banks, that's important. Climate change is a serious issue, but it's like, how do you donate to combating climate change? Our tax dollars already go to combating climate change also. It's like, how do you donate to that? Somebody tell me how you donate to that. The man owns the Washington Post. So it's like the Washington Post, aside from a recent journalist, every single day was devoted, like the New York Times, to undermining Trump's presidency. Don, I hope that answers the question. Thank you, Don. Great question. The Geezer speaks. The Geezer speaks. Thank you. Thank you, the Geezer speaks. Thank you so very, very much. Greatly appreciated. I hope all is well. But see, this is like the Geezer speaks, Don. Everybody here, I don't understand. I don't understand how difficult is it? Like, you have President Trump, he's a one-man show. Even President Trump makes mistakes, but like he understands that a great many people don't have the incentive right now to back him. But he is like a one-man army, one-man public relations machine, one-man media giant going up against the entire world. Does he make mistakes? Yeah, he makes mistakes. Thank God he's not on social media now, because it wasn't good. It just gave them fuel. It gave his opposition fuel and energy. But why don't you utilize before it gets banned? It is impossible. Before I start, we're all communicating in either sign language or like, playing charades or Mad Libs or, before we are completely prevented from any of this, why doesn't President Trump or why don't Senate Republicans in Arizona? Rand Paul should do this. Rand Paul is better. Rand Paul is excellent at communicating his vantage point because he has the platform in the Senate. And so he gets to grill people like wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people who are absolute experts. But how difficult is it to just go ahead and communicate your vantage point? How difficult is that? You have the platform. You have the platform. If I am Rudy Giuliani right now, I'm going on 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 different YouTube channels. Same with Karen Fann, Senate Republicans. You could start with Joe Rogan and actually try, you're going to, ask him, find out a way, to make it, desirable for him to want to interview you. Same with Brandon Tatum. Same with Anthony Bryan Logan. Same with Tim Pool. Same with a whole bunch of YouTubers that are open to either supporting President Trump or open to President Trump. Liberal hive mind. He's awesome. You just go ahead. I mean, if it's just the audio, great. He's awesome. I watch him all the time. There are so many channels that you can go on. It's not just, if you just want to keep Fox News, then do it every week. Go on Fox News every single week. There needs to be a fireside chat. There needs to be some kind of way to circumvent suppression, because they're suppressing is not just information. I keep saying, ladies and gentlemen, it's a suppression of emotion. They don't want you to feel suspicious. They want to keep you suspicious of Trump and anything around Trump. They don't want to. They are completely. They're always indignant if you ever level suspicion at them, if you distrust them, or if you experience any emotion that isn't blind obedience and absolute loyalty and allegiance, which is what they accuse Trump of, which is actually what they're guilty of. They demand blind allegiance, and when they're wrong, they say, well, we were mostly right. And then when they're proven even, their statements are even more off, or more when they have to do a complete 180, they then say, well, we just had to, there's new information, da-da-da-da-da-da. They demand blind allegiance. The cult is on the left. It's not on the right. It's not conservatives. The cult is on the left. Trump doesn't care what you think. That's one of the beautiful things about President Trump. One of the beautiful things about Donald J. Trump is that he doesn't really care what you do with your life or what you think. Freedom Autopsy Report! HA, when are you going to do a live stream bare-chested and wearing a Star of David necklace? I'm actually, one of these days, I'm going to dress like Styx. And got, just no shirt. Leather jacket, no shirt, Star of David. I have to grow out my hair. But, yeah. Freedom Autopsy Report, yes. Exactly. Freedom Autopsy Report, thank you. Thank you so very much. I hope all is well. So, Freedom Autopsy Report, everyone here. Thank you. It's time for Senator Fann and her ninja auditors to release the Kraken and show us the misconduct. They're basically, insulting them. Senate President Karen Fann may be the wrong person who pumps out subpoenas, but she got served on Monday. The Republican-run, I love this, Republican-run county supervisors brushed her off her latest demand for election material. Unending search for evidence. Sorry, you had an unending search that lasted a lot longer than this to prove Trump worked with Russia. It never happened because you fabricated everything. This is also another issue, is like, does Vance still have enough Senate support? So, there were 74,000 supposedly suspicious early ballots that weren't suspicious to anyone who knows how the county runs elections. Yeah, but that they didn't answer that categorically. See, here's, like, it's so easy. It's so easy. Then, of course, they link to a thread, a Twitter thread, and still Fan and Horror is demanding more information. Oh, my God. No. If there was actual evidence, pony it up. So they're not giving the information required, and they're saying, well, fine, tell us what the evidence is. Now you have, tell us what you found. It's like, well, okay, we don't have everything we need. Then they're like, well, tell us what you found. And then there's bizarre anomalies or numbers that can't really be explained that haven't actually categorically. Okay, the Democrats or the Twitter feeds that try to refute the claims in AZ do not categorically refute anything. They say, well, it's very likely this, so what's the problem? Well, very likely is not an actual rebuttal. Very likely could be, maybe, possibly you're right. We don't know. Just like with Trump and Russia, they wanted to investigate forever. So now they don't like their narratives being investigated. They love to investigate Trump on bogus, fake, absurd stories that you'd have to be like completely ignorant about politics to believe. But anyway, as Trump comes to Arizona, talented young Republicans need to cut him adrift. This is like they're living in a fantasy world. The only people who should be thrilled with Trump's Arizona visit are Democrats. And I say this as a proud Republican. This is the Republicans of years past are dinosaurs. They would have lost. Mitt Romney got infinitely favorable treatment by press. And he the geezer speaks, thank you. I love Telly Savalas. D. Velasquez! He donates to climate change by spewing 2 metric tons of rocket fuel. Yes! D. Velasquez! Yes! He donates to climate change by spewing 2 metric tons of rocket fuel emissions into the atmosphere. That's true. That's true. D. Velasquez, well put. Excellent. Thank you so very much. That's awesome. A+ guitar lessons, HA rocks. You should interview Giuliani. I would love to. I would absolutely love to interview Giuliani. And that's a good idea. I might try to reach out to him. A+ guitar lessons, thank you. A+ guitar lessons, thank you so very, very much. D. Velasquez, thank you so much. Well put. A+ guitar lessons, that is a great, great idea. That is an excellent idea. Thank you. A+ guitar lessons, D. Velasquez, thank you so much. This is like a pipe dream. As Trump, talented young Republicans, those talented young Republicans will be smeared, insulted, mocked, denigrated on Twitter and every possible social media platform that Democrats have an advantage, or that Democrats can, where Democrats can manipulate the algorithm in their favor. Mainly Twitter. Okay? The Washington Post and the Daily Beast and BuzzFeed and other publications, Vanity Fair, will write hit pieces on anyone they consider an obstacle. You see what's happening to Madison Caulfield. Madison Caulfield is a heroic individual for many reasons. Do you think these publications are going after Hunter with pictures of him with pipes? Hunter, our beloved president's son, who has emails saying, how can you use your influence on behalf of the company and you give 10% to the big man? You think they're going to go after the president's son? No, they'll go after Madison Caulfield. They have no intention of actual journalism that entails an impartial, they have no intention, absolutely no intention of journalism that entails an impartial, objective look at both sides. No way. They're propping up 24/7 one political side, and everyone knows it. Everybody knows it. Everyone knows it. Okay, that's why people do not trust media. That's why people don't trust media. That's the thing. J-Spot 51. I can watch Senator Paul grill Fauci all day. In my expert opinion, you quite frankly, Senator, you don't know what you're talking about. Fact check true. Exactly. J-Spot 51. Thank you. J-Spot 51. Thank you. The good thing about Rand Paul is that he communicates his vantage point in a very effective manner. President Trump sometimes, a lot of the time, engages in either appropriate hyperbole or perhaps too much hyperbole. But this is all going to change. I keep saying, ladies and gentlemen, I keep saying, this is all going to change. This is all going to change. Once you have, J-Spot 51, thank you. Once you have Republicans taking over the House, it's a different ballgame. Trump Republican GOP can stay mired in its delusions. The former president can climb the stage and tell the country this farce of an audit proves Democrats. But it all means the Republican Party is stuck in its delusions. Anyone who encourages these delusions is a tool of the Democrats and hasn't figured out the left thrives on Trump. In a certain respect, yes, this is true. It thrives only on indignation. It doesn't actually thrive on Trump. It thrives on the indignation, the feigned outrage. But see, again, if President Trump just tones it down a little, they don't have that. The only person capable, maybe DeSantis, but DeSantis isn't at Trump's level yet. The only person capable of getting 74 million Americans is Trump. There is not a Republican, DeSantis included, that can get anywhere close to that. Governor Ron DeSantis is the future of the Republican Party. I agree with that. He has all the fight Donald Trump brings to the arena. And all the Reagan charm never... Reagan had charm, but it was a different world. Hey, I can't hear you. I can't do my... I used to be able to do... I used to George W. Bush. Not gonna do it. I can't do that either. Democrats expect the Republicans to come to their senses and do to Trump what they should have done 6 months ago, trade him in. It's like, this is... Look, even Ron DeSantis, the Arizona Republic wants Ron DeSantis because Democrats, okay, he's fantastic. Ron DeSantis is fantastic, but he is not anywhere close to where President Trump is in terms of popularity. So what people are really saying is the following. We don't like Trump. We don't like Trump. Find someone else. And if you find someone else, that person will be treated and that person will receive less negative publicity. The country will accept a Republican. I'm letting everybody know there's not a Republican in the country today that media will accept. You can have Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a good Republican. I am a good Republican. You can have Mike Pence, by the power of Ronald Reagan's Bible. I want to bring this country together and heal. I want to heal the wounds that were... You'd have people fall asleep. Trump is admired just as much as he's despised. And Trump fights. And you know what? They fear him or they despise him because he used to be very effective. He's still effective at communication. He used to be better at communicating. Eric H526. Hi, Mitt Romney, Mittens Romney. I'm a good Republican. Mitt Romney. I'm a good Republican. I'm not mean to people. I put my dog on top of my car like normal human beings do. Oh my God, they would have sent him to The Hague. Like they were doing like Vanity Fair and CNN and Time Magazine where this is the media in 2012. You know, Paul Ryan, it's true that he wants to cut social services, but he actually has a workout routine. Look at Paul Ryan's, he's lifting weights. He's on the elliptical. Yeah, news at 10. A little tidbit, everyone. And, just putting politics aside and finding out the human element. Paul Ryan was at the gym today. Really, Marge? That's right. Really, Ken? Yes, Marge. That's right. And the news anchor man, Tim McFlurry, is at the gym right now. We're at the gym where Paul Ryan's working out. Paul Ryan and Mitt Romney, Republicans, conservatives, but we're all one country, and we all love each other. Because it's a process called election time. Yay! And we're not so divided as a country that a completely new realm called cyber media and Twitter would tear us apart and brainwash morally superior apoplectic liberals into making sure that they won't talk to anyone they know, even if it's like 40-year relationships, because of differences of opinion. Yeah, we haven't reached that yet. It's only about 10 years prior to that. So we're at the gym now. Oh, Congressman Ryan, did you do the elliptical today? Yes, I did. I wasn't working out. I'm all sweaty. Yeah. This is Tim McFlurry. Back to you, Marge. That's not ever going to happen. That's not ever going to happen. Those days are done. Those days are over. Sam, hello. Those days are over. That will never happen again. We spoke to this Republican. This is more what it's like. We spoke to Paul Ryans. This is what if they got Mitt Romney again and Paul Ryan. We spoke to Mitt Romney, a.k.a. Pierre Delecto, who was his alias on Twitter. Marge, what have you found out? Well, Pierre Delecto, a.k.a. Mittens Romney, the man who deliberately put his dog on top of his car in the middle of winter, in a blizzard, in a hailstorm, and the dog was freezing. He turned into a giant popsicle, a dogsicle. Okay? He should have been charged right then and there. But Pierre Delecto was actually, what did we find out on Twitter? Yeah. He was actually stalking people on Twitter. His camp, resign! Resign now! Resign, Pierre Delecto! It would never work out. And then you'd have CNN, you'd have everybody on CNN. I don't like Trump. I never thought I would say this, but that maniac, Pierre Delecto, that maniac, I wish we had Trump. I know. No, really? Come on. He was the worst. I know he was horrible and Satan incarnate. But at least he wasn't a person who puts a dog on top of his car. And at least he had his own Twitter account. Granted, he was banned. They would spin anything. It would never work. It would never work. Creating Wingless Angel, hello! It would never work. It would, they're living in this fantasy world. They're living in this fantasy world where if you just, like, when Biden is like, I remember, I remember when the Republican Party was, I remember the Republican Party was, oh, come on, man. Oh, come on, man. That's the Republican Party. You need a new person, new nice person. Like Mitt Romney, he's good. We can beat him by 30 million people. Yeah, well, why not? They just want to defeat. They just want to defeat. All they want to do is defeat Republicans easier, without the hassle of having somebody who stands up to them. That's it. That's it. That's all they really care about. That is all they really care about. They don't like Trump for a lot of reasons, but mainly because he stands up to them. He defeated them. He has a track record, like he's won the Super Bowl. So if you have a team that's won like the World Series, or it doesn't matter, like the Atlanta Braves, had they not won a World Series, it would have been really bad. You know, the Buffalo Bills, they went 4 straight, but they didn't win. The Atlanta Braves went a whole bunch of times. They won. You know, John Elway went a whole bunch of times, and he eventually won. You know, the Minnesota Vikings, they went 4 times. They lost 4 times. You know, Trump defeated them. He's already won the highest prize possible. They know he can do that again. He is a serious obstacle. He's like a serious adversary, and they want him out of the way. They want him completely out of the way. So, I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing. They want him out of the way, and they just pretend that Truthfully Real, hello. Midnight Squirrel Dog, hello. They just pretend. Oi, oi, hello. Ronald Foos! Ronald Foos, thank you. Ronald, as always, thank you. Hope all is well. Ronald Foos, thank you as always. Thank you for your support always. They just want... what does Pierre Delecto say? What did he say here? This is so hilarious. So Mitt Romney said, GOP senators sticking up for Burr. Blunt, Shelby, Collins, Rubio. And then Pierre Delecto writes, Romney too. Said to post that he had confidence in Chairman Burr. I don't know if this is... this is on Slate. Oh my God. Richard Burr is one of the reasons that Trump was tormented for 4 years, because you had Republicans in the Senate Intel Committee, which is an oxymoron. The Senate Intelligence Committee should be called the Senate Lack of Intelligence Committee. The Senate Unintelligent Committee. He said, Ronald, everybody here, he said, can you imagine? I'm logging on as Pierre Delecto, honey. Let's see, Representative Stephen Dennis. Okay, add me too. Romney too said to post he has confidence in Chairman Burr. Oh, who cares if he's right before the market downturn after a classified briefing? That was just a coincidence. We all make mistakes. I put my dog on top of my car. Nobody's perfect. Signed, Pierre Delecto. Nobody will ever realize that it's me. How does this thing work? Ronald Foose, thank you. Richard Burr is a greater adversary to Trump than Pelosi ever was. This man is head of the Senate Intelligence Committee. You better believe he's not getting investigated, just like all the Republicans. That, look, the Republicans did this to themselves. They lost because they decided they would rather lose. They would rather lose than, God forbid, back Trump. Let's just say, the Democrats, most of those Democrats knew that Trump never worked with Russia. You think Adam Schiff believes any of the nonsense? He knows that Trump never worked with Russia. He doesn't care. God forbid you just back Trump the way Democrats back their own, back their own political side. It's pretty unbelievable. Vicissitude. Mitt has perfect hair equals untrustworthy. That's true. They want a good Republican like Mike Pence. Pretty soon he'll change his name to Michael Pence to rid himself of the Trump stench. Hey, isn't that Mike Pence? Actually, it's Michael Pence. I've been many years removed from my time with Orange Julius Caesar. And I just want to heal the wounds of this nation as we unite. And then they cut his feed. And NBC News, you can see NBC News like, we interrupt this broadcast for a climate change bulletin. This was our GOP nominee. You said that if we left Trump, we'd have a nominee you cared about. And back to Michael Pence. And this concludes what I said. Trying to heal the country. Okay, bye. Thanks so much. You know that they'll do that too. They'll finally get the Republican they wanted. They'll finally get the Republican they wanted. It won't be Trump. And they'll cut the feed. Just as what they did, by the way, to, oh my God, they did this to Andrew Yang. They cut his feed during the wonderful, very fair primary Democrats had. They can't even have a functioning primary. We're supposed to revere everything they do. Give me a break. It's just unbelievable. And you look now, it's like we're waiting for the final Arizona recount report, which should happen this month. Let's see here. If you type in Trump, they really have nothing on him. Prosecuting Trump for role in January 6th got easier thanks to officer testimony. So do it already. What are you waiting for? The testimony of people who were there, who experienced everything. How on earth does it make it easier? You could have You're not going to prosecute Trump because people think he's guilty. Like that was the whole point. And by the way, eviction moratorium, the eviction moratorium ended. Paul Bartlett, hello. Hello, Paul. The eviction moratorium ended, and all they had to show for it, like the whole week, all they had was one goal. You knew the eviction moratorium was going to end. You knew it was going to end. Okay? They knew that people were going to be evicted. All they cared about was making Trump look bad. If they had the evidence to indict Trump, they would have shown the evidence in a court of law. They didn't. And so what happens? All they care about is these political victories. Meanwhile, people are facing serious, dire consequences. Dire consequences. And it's like it's just unbelievable. You have tens of thousands of people who risk homelessness. Tens of thousands of people who risk homelessness. Probably more than that. Probably hundreds of thousands. Especially in blue states, too. And instead of having record low unemployment, which is what, like President Trump, you could say whatever you like. The one thing he did not do is gleefully tank the economy. He didn't gleefully tank the economy. You know, that's not something that he did. He wanted to open up the economy last year. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm running out of steam. Thank you so very much. To my super chat, thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll have an upload in about 1 hour. So check out the upload. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. For people watching the eventual upload of this, the super thanks is below if you want to support the channel. It's right next to the like and share buttons to the right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. CMW, everyone here, thank you. Ring and Constitutional, everybody here, thank you so very much. Paul Bartlett, thank you. Be here in about 1 hour, everybody. Eric,